and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing really well. Happy New Year. You guys are gonna thank me after watching today's video for introducing you to a place that is absolutely magical, and I'm pretty sure you've never heard about it before because I hadn't. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So day one, we started our journey from Delhi early in the morning and hit the open roads. And soon after, we reached our first destination of Suvakoli in Uttarakhand. We spent the rest of the evening and the night meeting old friends and getting to know new friends and just, cozying around a bonfire and just having a good laugh and eating good Pahadi food and just basically called it a night after a day of travel. The next day, we woke up early in the morning only to be greeted by this thick blanket of mist, and soon after, we were once again back on the road towards our main and exciting destination with absolutely stunning views all throughout the journey. We were greeted with such amazing views at just a random turn when we stopped for chai, so you can just imagine the route and how beautiful the views must have been. So driving in the hills was a major goal for me that I ticked off for myself, and I was absolutely excited. And the drive itself was no less than a dream for me. So our destination was just around 160 kilometers away from Suvakoli. But I mean, it's the mountains and nothing is ever as close as it seems up there. So while the journey itself was pretty taxing and took us about 6 hours, it was definitely nothing to complain about because the landscape just kept getting better with every little village that we kept crossing. This was just a random samosa shop that we stopped at to grab a bite to eat, and I don't know what I'm doing over here. All throughout this trip, I think I was just left flabbergasted and in awe with everything that I was seeing. And if I hadn't seen it with my own two eyes, I probably would not have believed that such places existed. And I really wanted to be in the moment. I did not want to be lugging my camera around and not experiencing this firsthand, which is why I'm doing this voiceover and I didn't talk into the camera while I actually shot. Pretty soon we were in Uttarkashi, and oh my god, believe me when I tell you that this place is absolutely underrated. So, most of the time it was just our car and nobody else for miles, which was obviously amazing. It was just us, massive mountains surrounding us for as far as the eye could see, and just the absolute smoothest roads one could ask for. As soon as we started nearing our final destination, we could finally see snow. The road was covered in snow, everything around us was covered in snow, and the temperatures were freezing our knuckles off, to say the very least. And I was absolutely excited because I still haven't seen a proper full on snow situation or even a snowfall for that matter. So I was super excited. But I was also a little bit worried for my car and I was hoping that it doesn't skid off the road. That's an army area that you see down there by the banks of Bhagirathi, which means we have finally arrived at Harsil Valley, our destination for the next 2 days. We stayed at this beautiful property called Himalayan Nature Resorts, which again was just by the banks of the river, and it seems we missed fresh snowfall by just a day. We stayed at this adorable little cabin that I immediately fell in love with. The room was pretty basic, but it had everything that we needed to survive the sub zero temperatures that were going to befall us that night. And it was very clean, very nice, and the service was absolutely good. We caught up with some friends and went to explore this nearby village called Bagori. If only I could have shown you guys the night sky dotted with an infinite number of stars. And by then, the temperatures were around -8 degrees, and we just quickly returned to our rooms for the night. Whenever I'm in the mountains, I can never seem to sleep in just because of the sheer excitement of the day of exploring an adventure that lies ahead. And obviously, this time was no different at all. So, we set out early in the day to head to Lama Top, this really short and easy trek trail that was quite close to where we were staying, from where we could see the Gangotri ranges. So, what you see down there is the Harsil Valley and where we were staying and where we came up from. And honestly, I wish you guys could have just experienced what I saw, because no camera can obviously do justice to the real thing. And I was just generally so grateful to be beginning my new year in such a special and beautiful place. So, to give you guys a little bit of a background, Harshil is just 30 minutes ahead of Gangotri, and to reach the village, you need to cross an army camp, which makes it all the more exciting and obviously super safe to travel here if ever you're traveling alone. And just like that, it was time to head back to Suvakuli, and I only wish I could have spent a couple of more days here to really explore all the corners of this place. But I guess I'll just have to come back soon. Way back, we decided to stop by at Kashi Vishwanath, one of the oldest and most sacred temples in this region, and there's many fascinating stories attached to this temple, but that deserves an entire video on its own. Eventually, we caught up with the rest of our friends to ring in the new year and obviously celebrated it with a lot of dancing and singing. We spent the first day of the year in the best way possible, did a bunch of fun adventure activities thanks to our friends' adventure company in the area, trekked to a temple and took in some amazing bird's eye views of the entire village, and then headed to another place where we again were treated to some stunning visuals of the mountains and obviously the most gorgeous sunset to bring in the new year with. I couldn't have imagined a better start to my new year, and I really hope that you guys had a fantastic start to the year too. And this brings us to the end of my video. If you liked it, you know what to do. See you soon!